a video on something I just want to have a bit of a faff around with. So I've been doing a few pasta dishes recently. I did a mushroom one, I've done the courgette one that Stone Tucci made famous. I had a faff around with that, and then I was kind of thinking that there was a lot of flavour for just courgettes, cheese, and pasta, and a bit of olive oil, like a lot of flavour. And I kind of thought, well, can we actually do it with other vegetables? So we're going to do it with other vegetables and see what outcome we get from it. So there is carrot, celery, leek and onion in there, and I've also putting things in the bin. I made a vegetable stock with the other carrots, onion, celery, and leeks. So we're going to use that water from that stock to cook the pasta. So in the same way as the courgettes, fry those off, give them a little bit of colour, start a little bit of salt to draw out some of the moisture. So we'll give them a little bit of colour so it'll add some caramelisation, and then we'll take the vegetables out of the pan, cook the linguine in the pan with some of the stock in the style of a risotto. So we're not going to boil the pasta into water, we're going to cook it in the pan with some of the liquid. So add a little bit of liquid, well, add quite a lot of liquid, put the pasta in, stir it around, and then we'll get lots of starch coming out of the linguine into the water, and that will form the basis of the sauce. And then we'll jiggery pokery and add a few things around. So you want a bit more oil. I think you want a bit more oil. It doesn't want to be as high temperature as that. So bring it down a bit. Slowly cook, and it'll get a bit of colour, and also bring out the sweetness of the vegetables. And we shall return when we are cooking the pasta. Oh, I never noticed. Right. It says al dente 10 minutes. Probably take a little bit longer if we're cooking it like a risotto though. I'm in danger of burning those if we cook them any longer, so we've got a little bit of colour, which will be enough. Now, into a little bit more olive oil to the pan, don't we? Well, actually we don't just yet, but I will do as it cooks. So put it down like that, and then stock from the. Do I want it? Oh, doesn't matter. There'll be a few vegetables that go in. I don't think it really matters. So, didn't taste the stock. Really should do. So it's simple stock, just chopped vegetables and water. I had a little bit of. I've been cooking some chickpeas, so I put in the chickpea water as well. So it's got a little bit of flavour from that. No salt in it. Shouldn't really season stocks. Only at the very end, and only kind of before you use them in something, and then just pasta in pan like that, and then the steam will start to bend it, and it'll then melt into the pan. So start off with that amount of liquid. Chopping board's not too close to the pan, so it's not going to burn. Taste the stock. We'll use a spoon that we've washed it up. Nice and vegetably. Nice and vegetably. So what I found is that with a vegetable stock like that, you cook it for an hour and a half, depending on what you've got going on. But once you've cooked it for an hour and a half, maybe, just leave it on the side for half an hour, just to let all the flavour come out of the vegetables and go into the water. And a way to kind of know if that works is when you turn the heat off, taste the stock, leave it half an hour, and then taste the stock again, and you'll notice that there is a difference, that the flavours from the vegetables has then leached into more into the liquid. I need some a little bit of olive oil, isn't it? So as we're doing this way, you kind of need a little bit of fat in the pan to stop the starch foaming. So if you think about pouring, there's this pouring oil on troubled waters, which basically is an old naval saying, and what you would do in like a choppy sea, if someone once did it, so the sea was a bit choppy, and they noticed that one of the ships in a formation was travelling faster than the others, and it was the same wind and the same course and all those type of things, and they couldn't work out why. But what had happened was that the cook had poured some of the cooking fat over the side of the boat, and it had created like this film which had calmed the sea in that area and was able to travel faster. So there's the same principle with cooking pasta, that in the UK, like, people always used to add a little bit of oil to the pasta, and they kind of say it was to stop it from sticking, but what I think it was because when pasta started being more popular in the UK, it would have been after the war, after the Second World War, and we were encouraged to use less water with cooking vegetables and things like that because there was a fuel shortage in the country. So we were encouraged to use less water, so things cooked quicker. And the same with washing up as well, and that's the reason why we use like washing up bowls, I think, my personal opinion, although people will say other things. So because they were buying pasta, and it was probably came from Italy rather than being made in the UK, quite a lot of flour on the outside, and because they're using less water, it used to foam and create bubbles. So what they used to do was just add a little bit of oil or fat to the pan to stop it from boiling over. But now we know that we're supposed to cook pasta in lots of water, but obviously not this method, because we're cooking it more like a risotto. So carry on cooking, and the idea is that most of the water will have evaporated by the time the pasta is cooked, and then we'll be left with a liquid that's in the pan that's almost forming a sauce, and the liquid will have mixed with the starch from the pasta and the oil to emulsify together, and that will be the basis of the start of the basis of the cheese sauce. Same kind of principle as a cheese sauce. So if you think about when you're making a cheese sauce, there is flour, there is a liquid, there is fat, and there is flour, and cheese. I probably said one of those things twice. Liquid, flour, fat, and then cheese. So it's the same kind of principle as making a cheese sauce, because it's got the same elements, just in slightly different ratios. So I don't think I want to add too much of that stock, because I don't want it to become overpowering. So keep cooking, and we're back when the pasta is cooked. Right, so pasta is almost cooked. It'll carry on cooking a little bit more. As you can see, I'm charging my phone at the same time. It's filming, so there's cables everywhere. As you can see, we have got a bit of a sauce already forming in the bottom of the pan, which is the basis for the cheese sauce we're going to make. Well, that's good. A little bit more, no, pepper, no more salt than that, because we're going to put in cheese now. So young hard cheese, just the cheap stuff from the supermarket. It doesn't need to be. The older cheeses are more difficult to melt because there's less moisture in them, I think. I'm sure. I've got a mate who's a cheesemonger. I should know these things, shouldn't I? But to be honest, do we really talk about cheese? No. I basically go and see him and tell him about all the ridiculous things that I've been up to, and he has a good old laugh. So that will start off with. Now we don't add the vegetables just yet, because if we add the vegetables now, the cheese will just want to stick to the vegetables, and we want it to melt into the sauce before it does anything else. Now, we can certainly put some more cheese in. I don't know how much. I really should do a video where we just see actually how much cheese we can add to pasta. I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking what we could do we could just have the pan on top of another pan that's got hot water in it, so it'll keep the pan warm, but not split the cheese. I think that'd be a good idea, just to kind of see how much cheese you can put into a sauce. I remember Heston Blumenthal making mayonnaise, and I think he used the 1 egg yolk and just kept adding oil, and see how much mayonnaise 1 egg yolk would make. So we can certainly use all this cheese, although the only problem is you get down to the edge there and that's really starting to dry out. So I'm not going to open another cheese, I'll just get down as far as we dare with this one. Save that, stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds on a bit of baking parchment, and it crisps up, and you get like a cheesy puff. Right, I must admit I'm getting rather hungry now, so we'll taste it now, and then we'll taste it with the vegetables in. There's a few vegetables in there that have come from the stock. So, fork. Don't want to scrape the bottom of the pan, so we'll just use that like that. See what that tastes like. That's lovely as that. That's lovely as that. That's lovely with just the vegetable stock. So that would certainly up your pasta game with that. And then just all that in. Mix that around. Hopefully the oil won't split the sauce. And then we'll taste it again. We'll probably do a little bit more liquid in with that, but that'll be fine. So now taste again. So it would, if it's going to work with these 4 different types of vegetables, it would work with any one of them. So it would work with celery, it would work with onions, it would work with carrots, it would work with leeks. That's really nice with that. A leek one would be really nice with that. So you could, it would be almost like a leek and cheese sauce type of thing. But just kind of cut the leek in half and slice it so you almost get like thin julienne. That's really nice, is that? That's really nice. Don't necessarily have to use stock, water would be fine, because you've cooked the vegetables in that pan. You would get some residual flavour of the vegetables in the pan and then adding them afterwards, so you don't really need to make stock, but doing both, certainly delicious and kind of quite rustic, isn't it? So you think of like winter root vegetable pasta, so I'm going to really enjoy that. That's delicious and a success. Oh, we'll do the twirly pastry thing for the picture. What do we? Oh, we've got the ladle. I might as well get the fork. Let's see how it twists together, shall we? That's alright. That twists nicely together, doesn't it? That twists nicely together. That looks good, doesn't it? And then just plonk that in the bowl. Do you know? I'm just making a mess of everything. I'm just making a mess of everything. This is all my Instagram is just full of this type of thing. So like that. Twiddle that around like that. Standing up pretty well. And then just a few vegetables on top. Just to make it look fancy. Get those bits of pasta. Do you know? I'm too clumsy to be a chef. There we go. Take a picture of that. That'd be lovely.